I have finally had time to play the Frostpunk 2 beta, which got released earlier this week. Despite a few moments of thinking if this could be right, the beta looked very promising for the later release this year. Obviously, a lot of the content is still in a development state and not much has been unlocked, but what I was able to see made me worry. In a good sense though. So welcome in for a quick beta review of Frostpunk 2. If you would love to see my recent stream of 4 hours playing this game, I'll link the video on top and into the description. But what did I think of this game in total? For this, we need to recap what we know about the background story of Frostpunk. The world is frozen due to a global event called the Great Frost, causing massive global cooling and ending in a new ice age. What did exactly cause this? I will leave this to you, as the first iteration of Frostpunk has an amazing story. You should experience this yourself. So humanity flees from the old cities and builds a new home, all in risking their life and leaving everything behind they knew they were used to. These new cities created were built around giant coal generators, giving warmth desperately needed to survive in the cold. One thing is clear, the generator should never fail. The city must not fall. The environment is harsh, so old knowledge is either lost or useless. You as a steward of the new city have to let people research new ways needed for survival and pass laws and regulations to tackle the various sociological problems in this commune. Always having a look at the trust of your citizens giving to you. No trust, and they'll search for a new leader, and you might be sent out into the cold. Frostpunk 2 combines city building, sociological and political problem management, survival against shortages and weather conditions, and resource management into one single game, always forcing you to keep the balance. You might want to pass a law, taking children from the streets and giving them education, or you might want to use them as additional entry workforce. One of the many examples where you might need to convince a faction of your people to vote on this new law. Maybe even making promises in return you might regret at a future point. There's no real bad or good way in playing this game, just a phrase that comes to my mind: the way to hell is paved with good intentions. Though in this case hell is freezing cold. When not working on the usual political issues, you will be building up districts, giving people a place to live, produce goods and food, extract resources, and stockpile coal for the cold temperatures ahead in time. Remember, the machine should never fail, and this city must not fall. As the resources are not enough in your little city area, you need to colonize the Frostlands, gathering more resources for a constant supply of just everything needed for your survival. Frostpunk 2 is very different to many other survival city builders. Where others enable you to set up a stable production chain, in Frostpunk, peace is only short-lived. Even though I miss the setting of single houses, planning a road network and more, I do understand the concept of districts and the new gameplay mechanics. We are not dealing with a few hundred people anymore. Like in the first game, we are dealing with thousands, and not all of them contribute by working. Frostpunk 2 comes with a gigantic research tree, always questioning your decision on what to research next, moving your zeitgeist into one or the other direction. If that wasn't enough, different ways of implementing new technologies are available, where the faction of the Machinists would rather tend to industrial methods. Foragers go into a complete opposite direction. In Frostpunk 2 you will regret every decision you make, if not right at the start, at some later point. Maybe a small sacrifice in health would have been better on the long term when you have a higher coal production in exchange. Obviously this thought will come to you when dealing with the next whiteout and you're close to running out of coal. What I've seen from the beta so far is amazing. A great piece of work. The tutorial does lead you very far and leaves you with a good base to survive. What I miss though are small details. I love to see my citizens running around inside the city, the automaton being huge in scale compared to an ordinary person. At the moment the game feels a little cold, in the sense of the details of course. Accessibility and contrast might be a thing to work on. The background image of the menu is great. The text, however, is a little difficult to read on this background. Outposts and colonies might need some more explanation, especially when it comes to linking them to your city, as well as the work for the factions you can be doing. But I believe in 11-bit studios to work on a refined tutorial for the future. Graphics and audio, and especially the soundtrack, wonderful. I cannot say anymore. $44.99 for the standard edition and a total of $74.99 for the deluxe edition, obviously in euros. While the deluxe edition sounds like plenty of money, you will also receive a digital novella, 3 DLCs, and the art book and soundtrack. If 11-bit Studio manages to release Frostpunk 2 with such a good or even better story than in the first game, I can totally recommend the game. 25th of July 2024 is the date. I have high hopes for the future. And that is all I have to say for the moment. Thank you very much for watching. See you on the next one.